In the most divisive of times, the great debates rage on. Who was the best Batman? Was the book truly better than the movie? Did Han shoot first? Nerds with Opinions will seek to answer life's greatest questions. Hello there, fellow nerds. You are listening to Nerds with Opinions, episode number 139. As always, I'm your host, Matt Holben. Today on the podcast, I am joined by returning guest, Tony Williams, and we are going to be discussing and reviewing WWE's Clash at the Castle pay-per-view for 2024. It was an epic show in Scotland, and we have a lot to say about it. It's a Marks with Opinions episode. We're talking wrestling here today on Nerds with Opinions. So I am here back with Tony Williams. How you doing, man?
I am doing great. My shoulders are killing me, though.
Good deal. Good, not the shoulders, but good deal otherwise. So we are back, and we are reviewing Clash at the Castle, Scotland. The Clash at the Castle for 2024. I'm really glad they brought back this pay-per-view.
Did that last year's was?
What's that?
Last year's was not in Scotland, was it?
The first one was in Wales.
That's what I thought. I was like,
yeah, in Cardiff.
Because they kept saying something about like Scotland's first pay-per-view or first premium live event. I was like, no, they did. And then I thought about it. I was like, no, Matt was making a really big deal that it was in Wales. And like, yeah, the first one was in Wales. Okay.
Yeah. And what's interesting is let me go back here. So yeah, it's been 2 years so I don't know why they didn't have one last year, but they had one in 2022. And then fun fact, I've actually shortly after that pay-per-view, I've been to that arena in Cardiff. Actually, I've seen the arena in Glasgow too, that same year when I was on vacation. But so this was a 5-match card. I'm loving these short cards that they're doing. Apparently there was a pre-show match. I don't know if I saw that. There was. I guess not. So the opener, great opener, by the way. Cody Rhodes defeated AJ Styles in an I Quit match.
Yeah,
banger. I understand why this was not the closer for the right reasons. But I'm glad that it was the opener because it was. I'm just gonna bury the lead, and this was match of the night for me. By a long shot. It's interesting. So it sounds like AJ Styles had been in 4 I Quit matches before, but other companies. And I don't know if I don't remember what they said if Cody had ever been in one.
No, I don't think Cody's ever been in one. That's why they were kind of making a big deal about it. I could be wrong on that though.
Yeah, I don't think he had. But man, so good. What'd you think?
It's been a minute since I've seen an I Quit. I think they said, no, that can't be right. I think they said the last time the title changed in an I Quit match was in 2009 with Cena and Orton. And I remember watching that one. It was a good one.
Yeah, that's a banger.
Mm-hmm.
I Quit matches, I think, are tough though, because, like I've seen plenty that are like just perfectly fine, but a really, really good one. It's interesting. I don't know what it is quite necessarily about that stipulation, but it does seem sometimes that it just kind of turns into just kind of a hardcore brawl rather than something with storytelling. And these guys really still were able to keep the story going and use a lot of ring psychology with like working on the limbs, getting Cody's mom involved.
Yeah, that was great.
What do you think about like this rivalry now with this being 2 matches in?
I mean, you can end it here because, in my opinion, sometimes I Quit matches are like the Hell in a Cell. They're like the feud
blow
ender
off match, yeah,
which makes me sad because I'd love to see a third. Like if this was just
see it, the first 2 are so good. It's like I feel like you got to go 3.
Yeah, I think I just think they jumped the gun going with the I Quit. Like if they just had another like not even a no DQ, just another like, hey, I can beat you. I know I can beat you, and then like maybe a or like an unclean finish or some shit like that, and then you do the I quit match at like SummerSlam or something. Since Gunther's not going after the WWE title, you could have
Mhm.
done that. But yeah, I don't remember the last time I saw an I quit match that like turned heads. Like I think the last one was Roman
I
and
guess that's what I
Jay.
was trying to get at, where it's like it's been a bit since there was like one that was really talked about.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Roman and Jay's had the element of Jimmy where it's like he
yeah.
did like the quit didn't happen because of the damage done to the guy. It was like, oh, you're hurting someone I care about. But if like, could you imagine if AJ like just pulled Cody's mom into the
Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, there was. I was surprised with how involved she was.
Mhm.
But
A little color in this match too, which was
so I think that's maybe so. Not to be the millennial guy that loves bleeding in wrestling, but I do think that if used effectively, it puts an extra level of storytelling and drama into a match, and I think maybe that's why this one stood out more is because we haven't had legit color and in hardly any matches, but particularly in an I quit match where I think it's such a brutal match where somebody has to literally like give up to
yeah,
lose that no pinfalls. So like blood kind of makes sense for it, and it
yeah.
wasn't gratuitous. Like they did a good job at like just a little bit to like kind of storytell into just how
Yeah,
brutal it was.
he didn't do like Mask of Blood or anything. He did the appropriate amount of little bit like just taking up a
Well, they
quarter
both
of his
got color,
forehead.
remember?
Mhm.
Yeah, like AJ not much, but
Yeah,
yeah, it was really really good. I agree with you though that this could, if it stopped here, I would be like, hey, those two
yeah.
matches were freaking fantastic. But part of me, just because I don't know, I guess when they first announced the first one, it's like, of course this is going to be a freaking banger. But there's once Cody got the title, it was like, okay, we've had the same guy that has had the title for so long, so now there's all these exciting matchups,
Hmm.
and I thought of like all these different matchups, and I thought AJ Styles would maybe be further down the line, but I'm totally happy that it was kind of his first big rivalry post
Yeah.
Mania, and I think that's
No,
a good move.
I think everyone was expecting Orton to be the first one, so it was kind
I'm
of
kind of glad
nice.
he wasn't. I think
Yeah.
they need to build up to that, like because they're also on-screen buddies, and I think
Mhm.
Orton needs to stab him in the back.
Oh yeah, they did the hint when Bloodline came out and it's or New Blood, sorry, came out and attacked Cody and or like I think they did it intentionally because Orton was like stepping a little weird trying to get into position or it looked like it was
Oh,
to
for
get
an
that
RKO.
view of him looking at the title. No, he was helping Cody out and
Oh,
everything and
right, right,
he
right.
was on the side, but he's like looking over like that's a good looking title. Like
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna slow burn to that.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm sure that'll happen. Whether it's for the title or not, it has to happen. It's
Yeah.
before Randy retires. Like those two guys, now that
Oh yeah.
Cody's the top guy,
They
it has to happen.
absolutely have to.
Um, I will say, I really loved how this match came about, where you kind of like they made the point of going after the first one, AJ back of the line,
Yeah.
and then he does the retirement ruse, the nod to
Yeah.
Mark Henry to get like, dude, so good.
So I knew it was going to be a ruse because I don't think AJ's the kind of guy who would just like, oh, by the way, I'm retiring. He would like, I think there'd be like, he would have a run, like a last run, not just like oh, dang, I missed this title shot. I'm going to get out of here. Like he would 100% have a, like, I think, not to get out into the weeds of fantasy booking like AJ's retirement. Like you have your Cena match, you have your his greatest feuds match, which unfortunately I think you got to put Shane McMahon in there. His match with
I mean,
McMahon.
yeah, he had good matches with him,
Yeah.
but
But anyway, yeah, no, the I really am happy with I just love AJ. I love AJ's matches.
Yeah, yeah, he's amazing, and this was a great pairing. So let's give this a rating out of 5 stars.
I probably even give it a good 5. Like this
I'm gonna
is
yeah, I'm a 5 as well.
yeah, as much as I'm going against my particular like it had everything. It had a little bit of shock. It has the story. The only thing which I'm not going to take a star or a half star away from it is I still think this should have been the third match, but at the same time, sometimes you don't go to that well that much because like look what happened with Shinsuke and AJ. Like they had what 4 matches and one of them was good. So maybe
Yeah.
they were like, "Hey, you guys had a really great match, so we're gonna up it, and then we're done."
Yeah, yeah. Like maybe it's like, okay, well, if we go for 3, we might get diminishing
Yeah,
returns. Yeah, it's hard to say though because then you got to think of like sometimes those pairings. It's like let's give it a go because I feel like think about like Cody and Seth. Had they not had that third match, we wouldn't have got the torn pec Hell in a
well,
Cell, and that's
yeah,
like, I mean, as good as
that
their
is
Backlash and WrestleMania matches were, that Hell in a Cell has eclipsed everything, you know. Well, not totally eclipsed, but you know what I mean.
we
So
should
yeah, 5
we,
for me as well.
we
But
should do
great opener.
again, not to get into the weeds. We should do just like wrestler reviews of like their careers. Just
That'd be fun.
put a pin in that.
That'd be fun. Yeah. High points, low
Oh
points.
God, like
And
Taker's alone. Whew.
yeah, that'd be a big one to take a bite of.
Yeah, we'll come back to
Maybe
that.
somebody has had like a bit of a shorter run
Coward.
to get started. In the second match, a triple threat for the women's tag team titles. And I am just now realizing that this is their actual tag team name. I was about to just say Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, but apparently, did you know that their name's the Unholy Union?
Yep.
That is metal, dude.
Nope.
The Unholy Union defeated Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill and Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark by pinfall. I loved this.
I think
Go ahead.
I think it needed it a little bit. As much as I know, like Jade, they want her to like look good and everything. They want her to be. I don't think she needs to be in a tag team, but that's just me. And I think the Unholy Union, like you can work with them. Like we watched them in NXT last year for Mania weekend. They were great. They were phenomenal.
You have to build young talent.
Mm-hmm.
And the other reason that I loved it is you had 3 matches that had Scottish-born superstars in them.
Mm-hmm.
We all knew what was going to happen in the main event, and I'm not to like already bury that because I'm not burying it, but it was like we all knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I thought there was the snowball's chance in hell that Drew was going to win. I wasn't sure about Piper, but I felt like I think they're going to keep the belt on Bayley. But this one, I was not expecting it. So to get a Scottish win, I thought was a smart move, and I thought it was cool because you know they had been NXT tag champs, but never like main roster tag champs. And I tend to agree with you. I think that was a good way to start Jade off.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's time to turn Bianca heel.
Well, so yeah, I was going to say, I think that having like a mentor was good, but I think maybe what could get Jade a little more seasoning, well, short of going to NXT, which I think maybe they should have done that, but I understand that she's a big star. So, but I'll get into that because I have feelings about this match, how it went. But I agree. I think maybe put some tension between them and have a singles program because I think that Bianca could make her better.
Yep.
And
they are so similar in the powerhouse category.
But Bianca's really, really smooth and seasoned, and Jade is not.
And Bianca can teach her how to work the mic better than most. And
yeah. So that does lead me into there were moments of this match that were great. And like I said, I really loved the finish. I loved who won. And I think Unholy Union and Shayna and Zoe, well, kind of not Shayna or Zoe. There were some really good elements, but boy, oh boy. this was kind of a slop fest, and a lot of it was due to Jade. I hate to say that because I thought she
So,
was kind of showing up
mhm.
a little bit, but her last couple performances on pay-per-views have not been super
So
clean.
I will give her an out on the rope spot because every single match had a rope spot that went sideways. So there was something about the ropes in this card.
I did hear that, but there were some other problems too. Like
No, no, no.
she
I,
blew
I
some
agree with you,
spots.
but I'm taking away the rope spot just because it happened to
Yeah, yeah,
so many other people.
that was totally an accident. But so I've noticed, and I think maybe this is also why a tag team's not a great place for her. Is she seems a little lost when there's too many things going on. And I
Yeah.
think you mentioned it, like, and I hadn't even thought of it, like at Mania, you're like, hey, she was really great at Mania, but you can see her like stopping and waiting for spots,
Hmm.
and I think it's worse with if there's like,
With
oh, well,
multiple.
this person's gonna run and this person's. I think if it was just her and one other person and she did that a lot rather than, and it's an actual competitive match, not just squashers like she was doing in AEW, because I think that's also why she didn't improve is because she would just like
Hmm.
glamazon, glam slam, and like they're done.
Hmm.
So, anyways,
I really like their finisher though. It's a dope, unique finish.
oh, there's a lot of potential, and I honestly feel like let them have a rivalry. Like
If
run it for a while.
if you're not gonna do that, turn them both heel and just let them tear through everyone. Just that's let him be the
Yeah,
monster powerhouse.
yeah. I still, honestly, and another person I think she could work a program with that like she could learn a lot from would be like Natalia.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
I
just
think she just needs somebody that's just really solid in the ring.
yeah, I just heard something today, being June 27th, being uh, I think Natalia isn't re-signing. I
Get out, really?
it's something I just heard while a video was playing, and I might have misheard it, so don't quote me. But Natalia's name was brought up, and they were like
That
blown
shocked me.
away. Yeah.
That would shock me, huh? So for me, oh boy, I'm gonna give this a 2. I hate to say
Yeah,
it.
that's what I was gonna get.
Yeah,
It's
and
not.
like, and it's weird saying that because I loved the finish. I think it was a fantastic finish because especially like how like Unholy Union kind of, I don't want to say they stole the win, but they capitalized on a win
Yeah.
that like that was gonna go to Bianca and Jade.
Mhm.
Um, I thought it was just clever.
Yep.
Oh, okay, let's go on to the next match. Sami Zayn defeated Chad Gable, who was accompanied by Otis and Maxine, by pinfall. I really liked this match.
Yep.
It was quite good.
This is one of those matches where the story behind the match is sometimes better than the match, and the match was great. But like,
I could see that. Yes, I think the Otis, Maxine, and Chad tension was maybe the more interesting thing, but
mhm,
not by a ton. And I don't think it overshadowed the match. But I know what you
mhm.
mean.
Yeah, it's just like, and it's another Otis storyline that's like, just let the big guy have his moment, just give it to him.
Oh, dude, he's like an underdog king. I mean, even though it's like he's like the freaking strongest guy on the roster, but it's just the way he looks. He's just really endearing,
Mhm.
and
He's a big teddy
uh,
bear.
he's people are always gonna love him, and I do think that the the thing with Mandy ended prematurely. I thought
Yeah,
before like they could push him
yeah,
as high as they pushed her, and I think this is their chance to like slow burn, like make him a top guy.
yeah.
Um,
Uh,
where do you think this goes though? Because so now like we do have to acknowledge that now they've on screen anyways like Otis has orchestrated breaking free from Chad with Maxine and
mhm,
Tozawa, and he says, this is my family, and then so
mhm.
seemingly now Chad's on his own.
I
Sammy's
think,
off doing his own thing. Where do you think
yeah,
this goes?
I think honestly, as much as Logan, maybe Logan, I don't know. I think Braun takes the IC title off Sammy, and that's kind of where that goes. But
Braun Breaker.
yeah, and Otis, he's kind of one of those people like you give him anything, and it's more than like 9 times out of 10, it's going to be something good. So if he works with Tozawa and Maxine, and maybe gets another not quite powerhouse guy, but a medium size guy,
Mm-hmm.
and you can have a little faction with them, and you could even just call it the family, like he just said. But I
Yeah.
think isn't there a is it AEW who has a faction called the family?
No, it's NXT. It's
Okay,
Tony
that's
D'Angelo. Yeah,
okay. I
like
knew one of
the
them had it, so maybe not that.
yeah
But as for
the Italian gimmick, and
okay,
he's like yeah
as
he's like a
for
mob boss.
yeah, it's great. As for Chad, I think you gotta because he's kind of got that Kurt Angle. What was that? 2000s? No, 2002. Like shithead Kurt Angle saying weird things that are taken incorrectly. But
Are you talking like right when he got his head shaved
yeah,
era? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But I think you have to make Gable a little bit more dominant because he's a legit Olympic wrestler. So build him up, start having him get some actual good, clean wins. Because again, he has another finish that's like a great finish. It's
hmm
unique, and he is stupid strong and can hit it on people he shouldn't be able to hit it on. And I don't think you put him in another faction as much as I think they're pushing it to that. They're gonna put another like call up on him. I could not tell you who should be with him, but I
Do you
would. You
think?
gotta.
Let me ask you this: do you think so? He's going to be in the Money in the Bank. Do you think he should win it?
No,
No.
I
Okay.
I I have my Money in the Bank booked.
All right. Well, that's a conversation for another time. I was just curious. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like so if they hadn't pulled the trigger for the IC title yet, it's like they got to do something that's going to elevate him. I so I'm gonna just be honest. I think you might be right about Braun Breaker, and so here's my thought. I think Sammy has done everything he needs to do to
Yep.
get that IC title. You know, like still keep it elevated after beating Gunther.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he needs to have a super long run like Gunther had.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yeah, I think putting over a young guy who's dominant could be great. But part of me is like, imagine Braun and Chad Gable feuding over
Yeah,
that title.
I.
And maybe going back and forth with a little bit. So like,
Mm-hmm.
so get a run out of Gable with the title. That could
Mm-hmm.
be fire, dude.
I think, and
They're
just hear
both
me
heels
out.
though, so maybe that doesn't work.
I mean, I think you can do it. I think this is an age where like the match is going to be so good that you're like, I don't even care. Um,
Yeah.
but just hear me out. I think Braun squashes Sammy, wins the title, and then they have a rematch and have an actual match. But I think the initial win needs to be a squash because of how they're building
Mm.
up Breaker. And I think
So
you
like do
give,
like a Brock Cena thing.
yeah, he hits all. He needs to drop the Frankensteiner off the top rope. He's messed it up more times than I've seen him succeed with it. So I think he needs to retire that move. But I think you
I don't
can.
know. It's badass when you pull it off.
Yeah, but you get that one slip, and you know. But that's just my opinion on it.
I mean, he's squirrely for sure. Like, there's many
He's
times in
so
his matches
fast.
I'm like, is this guy's gonna hurt himself or somebody else?
He needs to slow it down a little bit. But I think yeah, you give him the Cena Lesnar title win, and then you send him on a Goldberg win count with the IC title. Like maybe not. Yeah, definitely not as long as Gunther's. I don't think you do that for another few years, but you can have him face a lot of people. You can have him face Strowman. You can have him face. Honestly, you can have him face Bobby Lashley.
Well, what do
I,
you do with Sami Zayn then though after that?
I so I said I already had my Money in the Bank winner picked out. The only other person I would accept, which won't happen because he's having his own match, but maybe they'll pull some tomfuckery and someone gets hurt and Sammy takes his place. Sammy would be the only one. I think this is an era you can have Sami Zayn win either the world heavyweight title or the WWE title.
You got to do it at some point. I agree. So I had this random thought though, because I also think that he's at this point bigger than a title in a lot of ways.
He's our Mick Foley.
What if? Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. What though? What if he rejoins the OG bloodline to fight the new bloodline? Come on.
I don't know. I don't think he can do that. No.
No?
No.
Oh my God, I would love it if because think about it. Think about it. In theory, Roman and the Usos, they're outnumbered. They're down like 3 guys to what now 5? Dude.
That's not what I would do. I would, because it'd be one thing.
Honorary Us coming to the rescue.
No, because I think Roman burned that bridge. Like exploded.
No, for sure, probably. But Roman's gonna come back as babyface. It's gonna happen, dude. So I don't know. Anyways, we're getting too off into the weeds, but let's rate this match. I'm gonna go 4.75.
So I was gonna do a 4.5.
All right,
because I do enjoy Sammy. 4.5.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. In the next match, Bayley defeated Piper Niven, who's accompanied by Chelsea Green, by pinfall to retain her women's championship. What do you think about this one?
I think you can do another one. I think you can run it back.
I would, yes. I would love it. So this was one that to me it was like, okay, I'm loving that Piper's getting a title shot. This is only happening though because she's Scottish. And I think it exceeded everybody's expectations, in my opinion, because it was a gosh dang banger.
Yep.
It was so good. And then, it had a bit of everything because it was a good just back and forth match with, a powerhouse opponent with an undersized opponent, and even though that she's the champion, she's the underdog just due to size. And then you did, the comedy spots with Chelsea.
Chelsea is wonderful, by the way. I really enjoy her.
She's my pick for women's Money in the Bank this year, by the way. Okay. But anyways, I love this match. And I thought it was sometimes these kind of shows where, they're kind of more putting the card together as fan service for the area that they're in. Sometimes they're, like I said, it's giving somebody a shot that probably wouldn't normally have a shot.
And showing why they deserve more shots.
Yes. To me, I was like, dude, I would have never, out of WrestleMania, I would have never been, picked like, oh, Bayley's going to have a rivalry with Piper Niven at some point. I would have, just not that I thought it would be bad. I just wouldn't have seen it on the radar. Yeah. And now that I did see it, I
also
agree.
Think they do not do enough women's rivalries.
Like long term, you mean?
Yeah. So we're talking.
Honestly, other than the 4 horsewomen, you're right.
I don't see, we were just talking about AJ and Cody, and she's like, yeah, no, keep it, run it back, do it, fucking whatever. But then it's just well, I can't.
I guess you got Rhea and Liv now have a strong rivalry.
So that's a little different because their first feud was they had 1 match, I think. And now you fast forward, I think it's a year.
Real life events have made it a rivalry. Yeah. But anyways, I digress. Go ahead.
But also it's been 2 years since that. So you could easily, because another person who's coming back as a babyface, Rhea comes back.
Yes, she will be. You're totally right.
I think this is going to be the women's equivalent of the Madison Square Garden Triple H return. And I think they should do it that way. As much as I love a good surprise return, I think sounds really weird to say. As much as Rhea's injury, I don't think is as bad as tearing the quad completely off the bone, because she's only going to be gone for, I think they said 6 weeks or something like that. I think if you start building it up, you can have that same reaction. You can have that same build. And if she pulled an MJF and came out in the leather with the denim, I would lose it. I'd love it.
That'd be cool. Yeah, but
I think
that'll be a big return.
This version of Liv and this version of Rhea, you can get 3 matches easy, as long as it doesn't botch too much.
Yeah, it's if a Piper was in the Money in the Bank, I would say she should
That'd be
win
a good
it
one.
to challenge to challenge Bailey again. But it's yeah, I my worries are that it this is a one off and it's not going to go anywhere else. But Triple H, if you're listening, you should do a rematch.
A random episode of a pod. Yeah, yeah, sure. He listens. I think. I
Sorry, go
think
ahead.
this year is again, as much as I've picked my Money in the Bank winner, I think this should be two underdog Money in the Bank winners, like two kind of dark horse.
I mean, Chelsea would be.
Yep,
Yeah,
Chelsea or Piper would be
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
no, this was a solid. I could probably. Did we rate this one already?
We haven't yet. I was
Okay,
just about to ask you.
yeah. I'd another 4.5.
I'm gonna say another 4.75.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
I
think
thought it
you
was
can run it
really
back.
really good.
You run it back. You have Chelsea. Nope. Piper destroy Bailey, like almost squash, but then a tomfuckery roll up pin, and then you do one more.
Yeah, yeah, I could be down for that. That would be cool, dude. Yeah, I'm curious to see.
And then you have Piper win the title.
As much as I love Bailey, yeah, like no, that's the point. We should be trying to build up people that haven't had the title before. And then the final match, Damian Priest defeated Drew McIntyre by pinfall. And as per the stipulation, the Judgment Day were barred from ringside.
And I'm very happy with that.
And not to spoil for anybody that's listening to this, but hopefully you've already watched it. There was a lot of ref bumps in this, and then a replacement ref ran down the aisle, and it was one CM Punk.
I loved the camera angle was perfect. It was lovely.
Oh, I have a lot to say about that. Yes, I
yeah.
agree, because I think as predictable as this was, the way they did it was really good.
Dude, his rope slip. I'm trying to get rid of the word botch in my vocabulary. Honestly, Chris Jericho yelling about it, and I think it was the Busted Open. He was talking about it, and he's like, the word botch is, it's not what we're live. It's not a botch. It's like shit happens.
It's an accident. Oh no, this was 1,000% an accident, but it was rough to watch, dude.
Yeah, and I apparently just didn't think Priest was that good of an actor. I thought he was legitimately like his knee was like blown out, but he's still just like going for it and going for it and going for it. I would have probably had him sell it on Raw just to keep it going if it is a work. But no, this was a great match. I think this was a great I was gonna say feud, but it's not gonna be a feud, and he already had a match with Jay. I think this could have been a good feud. The Judgment Day being barred, I was very happy with that because you're gonna get Damian. I love the guy. Gunther's winning that title at SummerSlam. 100%. He is absolutely winning that.
I think so. Yeah.
I think you have to start building Damian as a legit main event threat. And
so I think as much as Seth just made a triumphant return and he's going to challenge at Money in the Bank, I think Damian needs to smash him.
Yep. I think I get where you're coming from. I think this needs to be a competitive, like no fucking around. Like the fact that Damian made the challenge, I think no dirty anything. I think this needs to be. Oh, where's a good comparison? This needs to be Daniel Bryan, John Cena, SummerSlam. This is just, I'm proven I'm better than you.
Mm-hmm.
And because they 100% can have a great match.
Yeah, I still think like he needs to beat him soundly and cleanly though, because I agree with you. They need to build him up to his absolute peak before he faces Gunther. And honestly,
that would be
even if they decide not to pull the trigger on Gunther, that'll put Damian over even more if he beat him. So like, regardless, whichever guy's coming out of that, if they build it up right, they're gonna be.
I would love to see if you build Damian like. I want Damian to win at Money in the Bank. I think he's going to.
Yeah,
I think after
Seth
that,
doesn't need to win that.
Nope. I think after that, you have Judgment Day like poke at Damien, like telling, like maybe make some comment about he's going soft or some shit like that. You're not as ruthless. You're not open challenges every week. Open challenges for that title, beats the ever living fuck out of everyone until you get him to SummerSlam, and then you have Gunther and him. I think they have the potential to just fucking burn that place down.
I agree. Yeah.
You get a good 15 to 20 minute, they're both drenched in sweat, and like whoever wins, you fucking handshake at the end. That's how I would do it.
Yeah, that would be good. So at this match, so physical. Both these guys are just so athletic for big men. So it's like such a compelling and interesting match to watch with two guys that are, 6'6", 6'8".
I think Drew's on one of his best runs since.
For sure.
One of his best heel runs, I should say, because his babyface run in 2020 was great. This is like the heel equivalent. Like he's doing great.
Yeah, he's firing on all cylinders for sure, and I think Priest is too. I know some people have online have dogged him since he won the belt. I disagree. I think he's been doing great.
We also might be a little biased because I think we've been watching him since he debuted in NXT.
Yeah, I mean, I like him, so maybe I am biased, but I
think he needs a character change, honestly.
I think it'll come whenever they break up Judgment Day.
Yeah.
But so let's talk about the CM Punk of it all. So we all knew that this was going to be a thing.
Yeah.
I think this was a very clever way of still delivering on a thing that everybody knew was going to happen, but in a way that I don't think anybody expected. Dude,
the look of him.
Well, and the callback to the meme was so good.
There's so many little factors, and that's the European slang for "fuck you."
Yeah,
it's just it's so great. It's fucking phenomenal. I love it.
Well, and yes, so you mentioned the camera angles, the way that they produced that, where you just that big wide shot where you see a ref running in, but you absolutely cannot tell that's CM Punk watching it on TV.
You just see a zebra running down there. Yeah.
And then when they shot it from behind him, I knew who it was, but the fact that they had the control to be because a hack would have been show him running the entire time, show his face as soon as he hits the ring. The fact that they were we're not going to show his face until he does not count that 3 was chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Very, very smart. And then his reaction to Drew's reaction, and Drew just I mean, I know it's it's a work, and I'm assuming that they don't have that much actual tension. They might have some a little bit of tension behind the scenes, but the way that Drew grabbed him by the throat, I was he's gonna kill him. If it was turned into a shoot fight, I would have believed it just because the way that they react to each other, which is great. It seems very real. And then the kick to the balls.
Yeah,
dude. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I actually, so it's wild. I'm so glad that, because my assumption is that this was not originally the plan. Because the plan was obviously, when CM Punk came back, the way that Seth reacted, that was Seth and CM Punk. They've now admitted that was supposed to happen at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that Drew getting involved in this, since he was the guy that hurt CM Punk at the Royal Rumble, I feel like that was completely organic, and he's just I'm going to talk some shit online, and then now that's the rivalry. And frankly, I'm going to be honest, you can always still do
better. Yeah.
Seth and CM Punk, and this, I think, has become a thing that I never expected, and I am greatly enjoying. It's it's not the rivalry I would have ever imagined.
Yeah, it's pretty goddamn great.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those weird matches where Drew is so fucking large, it's almost unbelievable that Punk can beat him. But Punk went toe to toe with Brock, so that helps. And
he's worked Rock, he's worked Cena's a big guy, not as tall, but jacked as fuck.
No, I think it's gonna be great. I think I could not tell you who's gonna win.
Same. I don't know. Because Yeah, I don't know because now like will have been back for by the time that match happens, he'll have been back for 9 months,
Yep.
and he's only had one match,
Yep.
one that he
Well,
didn't.
one and then the Rumble.
Well, I was that's
He he had the match with Dominic.
that was on a live event. I'm talking about on TV, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like so only one TV match. So it's like to protect your investment, like I feel like that business wise that's what you do, but then like Drew is on this I don't know. I feel like if Punk wins, he has to win dirty.
Oh yeah.
He has to be a tweener win, like kick him in the balls, something like that. Because I don't
Yeah.
think you can have him beat him straight up and have it
Nope.
be believable, like you said.
Yep.
But
Yeah. So you want to rank this real quick?
well, yes, but I want to ask you this quick question. So I'm assuming that you agree that this was the right call, even though Scotland hated it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay. Well, part of Scotland hated it. Some of the people fucking loved him. CM Punk doing that. Yeah, that was interesting.
I still just think it's too early to take the title off Damien. Like it maybe if he didn't hold the Money in the Bank for so long, I'd feel different. But he held it for almost a year. Like, and
he's only had it since
Mania.
WrestleMania. So yeah, that's why I also am like, will he lose to Gunther? Should he lose to Gunther? I don't know. But then it's like, at some point you got to put this guy over because he's like one of the best in the world. And Gunther, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's rank it. What are you thinking?
4.7, 4.75.
I am also going to say a 4.75. Great storytelling. Absolutely great storytelling. And then the rope slip aside, they actually did a really good job at making that like a legitimate spot and not seem like a quote unquote botch, like you said. Like
It wasn't
the fact that
Stone
Drew did not check on him and try to get him out of the ropes, he just started kicking him.
Yeah.
I was like, honestly, because okay, if he's hurt, he's hurt. So it's like, might as well get a little bit of a spot out of it. And the one thing that about somebody getting stuck in the ropes that I think does break the that veil of like reality versus of like a work is when the bad guy then helps, or not the bad guy, but the opponent helps the other opponent get out of the ropes. It's like, okay, whereas I love that he's just like, I'm just gonna kick him.
Yeah. Well, and even Drew like yelling at everyone is like, I can't win the title if he's tied up.
So yes, that great
Okay.
ring psychology. Yes.
I'm
I'm gonna say 4.75 as well.
Yeah. Takes me back to the Stone Cold when he got locked up in the ropes and Triple H had to like help him, but was actually like beating on him. He's like hitting him and just like slowly twisting the rope.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do it somehow, and then clearly, like this was a real. I don't know. I've seen a lot of people get stuck in ropes. This was one of the worst ones. I mean, short of obviously, the worst ones. Mick Foley, obviously, but the way that he was with like all of his weight going down.
Yeah.
Like that.
Like he probably ball bagged himself at the same time as going flipping.
Well, the thing that I like, so everybody was like worried about his leg. The thing that I saw, dude, he smacked his head and his shoulder on the edge of the ring. Anyways, let's give a rating for the show as a whole. I'm gonna do. It wasn't quite perfect because of that one match that I gave it to. I'm gonna say a 4.75 average because I think most of these I gave. I gave 3 matches 4.75. So yes, I think 4.75 average for me. Yeah, really good show.
Just solidest of 4s.
And as per usual with these European crowds, well, just I think insane. Any foreign crowd, like
fucking insane. Cody's singing Cody's song.
Next level, like France showed up. Mm-hmm. Now Scotland. I mean, like, dude. Mm-hmm.
So I do like that apparently that's just something they're going to start doing is if it's not one of the big 4, it's going to be overseas for a few years, like apparently, because they want to like do that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame them. I mean, they're just better than American crowds. Like, I will say, I took a little bit off into the weeds, but just a thing about pay-per-views out of the country. I heard this thing on Chris Van Vliet's podcast where Rey Mysterio is like really wanting a PLE in Mexico City.
Mexico.
And he pitched a retirement match for himself in Mexico at a pay-per-view where it would be a triple threat mask versus hair with him, Dom, and Santos Escobar. And I was like, book it. That would be a dream match. Obviously, he would need to lose, and he would need to, demask. But, when he said that, I was like, yeah, there it is. That's the match. Because at this point, all of his contemporaries, he's outlasted them. Like, maybe you could bring Chavo Guerrero back, but I think he would be better off, I think, putting over his son and another young guy who's like his protege. Or
So that's another thing still out in the weeds. When that happens, or if it ever happens, hopefully I would want Dom to be like, that would be the babyface turn. Then, like, if I don't know if you can ever turn him. I think he's scorned us all too much.
Not for a while, and like, the guy's just on a.
He had Rhea
run
for years, and now he's got Liv.
Yeah, this guy's got heat. This was a fun show, though. I really, really liked it. Again, I enjoy these shows that don't have a ton of matches, but there's more time put into the matches. I really like that formula. I think it's a little easier to remember everything as well, as much as, I love wrestling. Like 7 hours of it is a lot.
Yeah.
So
I'm curious how the SummerSlam is gonna, like, next year, 2 years, whenever the 2026 or the 2-night one is. I want to know if that's going to be a one-off, or they're going to realize, oh shit, we made a fuck ton of money off this. I don't want it to become a 2-night. I like that Mania is the 2-night and it's like special.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think they might move to that model.
Yeah.
For the big four, but yeah, we'll see.
I mean, I guess if you're going to do it and do it for all the big four, that's.
I really don't think it's necessary for Royal Rumble. Or,
I mean, you can do
Survivor Series,
women's main event one night and men's the other.
No, I know, but yeah, I could, if they're gonna do it for another one, I could see SummerSlam.
Yeah,
but I'm with you. It's like, I don't know if you need it, other than you get more people in the show, which I'm. Yeah. It's,
since you bring it up, if they're gonna do it for all big four. If you're going to do it for another one, do it for all four. Like, it's weird to me. Survivor Series is like the one I'm like, I don't really know what you do, unless they brought back.
They need to bring back the old model of like actual like brand warfare.
Mm-hmm. Which I guess War Games
I hope they. Well, no, because they've kind of done it more storyline in the last little bit, rather than. I kind of hope the Triple H brings back that sort of like brand supremacy thing.
So you can honestly, me just thinking about it, they're kind of making War Games Survivor Series. Dude, night one, elimination, traditional Survivor Series, or night two, War Games, like, or flip-flop it.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that could work. Yeah. That could be cool.
Triple H, please listen to us.
Yeah, if you're listening. All right, dude. Well, I think we wrapped this thing. Thanks for hopping on here and talking about some wrestling. We got this 50 minutes, dude.
Yeah, that's what happens when there's only 5 matches.
Yeah, and then only 2 of us to talk. Yeah.
No, all right, I can honestly say, like, I'm been more hyped with wrestling, and it's once again thanks to Bray Wyatt. The Wyatt 6 debut like got my spark back.
Yeah, like, obviously, like, there wasn't much to say about that with this, at the time of this show. But yes, at this point, Wyatt 6 debuting is, I think it's going to be a game changer. It already has been.
So funny.
It's good stuff. I'm sure we'll have
a lot to say.
If we review the next couple shows, I think we're gonna have something more to say about them, because they're gonna have a presence at a pay-per-view. If not the next one, they absolutely will at SummerSlam. Which I guess, wait, no, actually, there's two more pay-per-views before SummerSlam, because they're doing that Bash in Berlin. So another a European show.
Yeah, I do. Well, we can talk more off here because I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
run.
yeah. Well, let's wrap it up. All right,
Yeah.
man. Thanks for thanks for joining me, dude.
Yep, no problem.
That is the episode. Thanks so much for checking it out. And thanks to my guest, Tony Williams, for joining me and talking some wrestling, talking Clash of the Castle. Hey, if you're enjoying what I'm doing here on Nerds with Opinions, make sure you're following me on social media at nerds_opinions on both X and Instagram. You can find me at Nerds with Opinions on Facebook. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, you can rate this podcast. Please, 5 stars would be great. That really helps me out. And if you could share it out, that helps too. If you're on Apple Podcasts, I think you can rate and review. So if you would give me a great review and rate it as high as you can, that would be awesome as well. I appreciate any of the help. And that is all I've got for you. As always, I'm your host, Matt Holben, and you have been listening to Nerds with Opinions.